Hey guys, this is the podcast, My Messages to Black Men. And I'm also going to give a similar message and put it on my podcast, The True American. Actually, what I might do on my other podcast, The True American, is have a panel of local black political thought leaders talking about something Dr. Kevin Cosby has recently issued. First of all, let me say that I have had at one time a good working relationship with Dr. Cosby. I worked with him at St. Stephen. I managed his bookstore at St. Stephen. And if I have to say so myself, I did a darn good job in managing his bookstore. And I really enjoyed working with him. I've also seen Dr. Cosby over the past several decades grow from itty-bitty little church to one of the largest, if not to one of the largest black churches in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and also see him take Simmons Bible College and turn it into an accredited institution of higher education, Simmons University. We have one HBCU up in Frankfort. Now we have a second HBU here in Louisville, Kentucky. So, and he's published several books, and you know, it would take forever and a day to talk about Dr. Cosby's credentials. I have a good many theological and political differences with Dr. Cosby, but I respect the man. You can't help but respect the man. I mean, he's a producer, he's a builder, he's an achiever. But still, I want to emphasize, I have a lot of disagreements with theological and political differences with Dr. Cosby. The man's not perfect. You know, he's not God. And then, so Dr. Cosby's put out a statement. He basically was saying, you know, I hope Deion Sanders does not do well at his new place. You know, as you know, Deion Sanders left an HBCU. He took a bigger position, I guess you might say, and a position that definitely is going to pay him more money. There's not an HBCU in the United States of America that in any way could have competed with what this university in Colorado offered Deion Sanders. And look, Deion Sanders, he's a responsible man. I don't think he's married, but he's engaged to some woman. He has children. Look, it's hard to turn down $5 million. You know, the brother's got responsibilities. And I think Deion is someone who really is very much like Kevin Cosby. These two guys are really two peas in the same pod, you know, in that they're both achievers. You know, they're both competitive. They both got that ego. They reach one mountain, they look for the next mountain to reach. You know, it's higher than the mountain they just overcame. So I really don't believe Dr. Cosby has a personal grudge against Deion. I really do not believe Dr. Cosby was personally attacking Deion. I think Dr. Cosby in his heart would quickly say, hey, Deion, you know, hope God blesses you with a great marriage. Hope God blesses you with good health. You know, hope, you know, God blesses you and hope you grow in your walk with Christ. Dr. Cosby, I find it extremely hard to believe Dr. Cosby has a personal grudge against Deion Sanders. I mean, Dr. Cosby has his faults, errors, shortcomings, and sin like everybody else. So no one start throwing any stones, because I'm definitely not going to throw any stones when it comes to that issue. You know, he without sin throw the first stone. Shoot, I'd be the first one to walk away. I ain't there. And Dr. Cosby would walk away too, because he's not there. He does not literally wish on a personal level bad things to happen with Deion Sanders. I think what Dr. Cosby is trying to communicate, and he just misstepped in communicating it. Look, black folk, and I'm black men. Remember now, this is my podcast. My message is to black men. Black men, our people are not doing as well as we should be doing in the United States of America today. You want to look at education, look at health, look at wealth, look at those critical issues. And we're not doing as well as we could be doing. Now, we might be doing better than some folks in the Republic of Botswana or the Kingdom of Swaziland, or formerly Swaziland, Ghana, Brazil, whatever. But here in the United States, we're not doing as well as we should be doing. And in order for us as a people to overcome the problems and issues that we're facing and have been chronically facing for many decades now, is that we have to build institutions. It's about institutions. I get it. I applaud it when we got the first black press secretary at the White House. Oh, that's great. That's great. Her lifestyle, I think, is silly, but that's great. We have the first black attorney general in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Oh, that's great. Seriously, that's great. I don't care about their politics. I don't care if they're liberal conservative. I don't care if they're liberal conservative. I don't care. Black person broke they achieved something. I'm not mad at them. But on a collective basis, as a people, we're not doing as well as we could be doing. We are very creative, hardworking folks that have overcome some tremendous obstacles to get where we are today, but we're still not where we should be. And I think if you ever sat down and just objectively look at the facts, you'd see that. Look, folks, let me tell you something. The Republican Party is not our liberator. The Democratic Party is not our liberator. Cultural Marxism is not our liberator. It's not. And I'm speaking to you as a Republican Party member. The Republican Party is not our liberator. The Democratic Party is definitely not our liberator. We are our own liberators. That's a slogan that the Pan-Africanist Congress of Azania, in their fight against racist minority rule in apartheid South Africa, they often said, we are our own liberators. So that meant, part of what they meant by that, the PAC, the Pan-Africanist Congress, was that we have to build our own institutions. We have to build our own institutions, folks. That's what we have to do here as black folk here in the United States of America. It's not about hating Jews or loving Jews. It's not about hating white folk or loving white folk. It's about black men. Build your own institutions. Now, there are some white folk in the Christian community, the Jewish community, Muslim community, some, not all. I don't even think it's a majority, to be honest with you, who they don't like that. They don't like hearing that from black folk. That's one part of Kevin Cosby they don't like. That's one part of Booker T. Washington they don't like. That's one part of Marcus Garvey they don't like. That's one part of Louis Farrakhan and other black men they don't like. When our black men stand up and start talking about building institutions, wait a minute, Negro. Hold on, Negro. They don't like it. So Kevin Cosby's not talking about, hey, we want to be the first black this or the first black that. And we've done that, been there, done that. We applaud those black folk, male or female, who accomplished that. That's great. But what's that doing for us as a people? And if we want to move forward, if we want to progress as a people, we have to talk about building institutions. That includes institutions of higher learning. We're talking about HBCUs, historically black colleges, universities. And here's what I believe we should be discussing. Now, Pastor Corey Shull, I hope I'm pronouncing that brother's name right. I have a lot of disagreements with him. He and Kevin Cosby, they're like on my I disagree with them theologically and politically list. But I respect that brother. Because look where his church started from. When he came into his church, when they say, hey, we want you, this congregation said, hey, we want you to be our senior pastor. From the time he started with them, look where they're at right now. That brother built an institution. I got to respect that. He built an institution. I got to respect that. And that institution is hopefully teaching people the Word of God and hopefully, is trying to help the least of these in our society. I tell you, another person like that is Dr. Anthony Middleton. I got to respect those black men who are building institutions. And the only thing Dr. Cosby is, I think, and I can't speak for him, but I think what he's trying to get us to do as black people is to look at that critical question. Look, folk, you can't build healthcare institutions. You can't build education institutions. You can't build business institutions minus brain power. You can't do it without intellectual capital. Okay? I mean, it's just not possible. And so Deion, he was somebody of tremendous intellectual capital. People kept saying, oh, he's an athlete. What does he know? Hey, dude, no, for what Deion did for those 2 years at Jackson State, oh, no, Negro, you saw somebody who has some powerful intellectual prowess going on there. You saw a highly talented, intelligent black man go in there and help to revive an institution. And now he's leaving that institution. That's called a brain drain, folks. Go look at some of these African nations. Go sit down and talk to like some of these ministers of education in some of these African nations, like Nigeria and Ghana. And they'll tell you in a heartbeat, hey, we love it when some of our individual students are able to go to the United States or Britain to further their education. We love that. But here's the problem, though. They stay. They don't come back. They don't come back. They don't say, hey, look, this is what I learned. These are the skills I picked up. They don't come back to build institutions for the most part. I'm not saying all, but obviously for the most part, overall, they don't come back. They don't go back to Ghana, Nigeria, and to build those institutions. What institutions? Hospitals, schools at all levels, businesses, etc. Okay? It's called the brain drain. It's called the brain drain. So that's what we're talking about. I think Pastor Show, he brought up some issue about, he wanted to compare criticizing Deion. He shouldn't be criticizing Deion on a personal level, but should we also take that attitude towards Daniel Cameron and Clarence Thomas and another black man he brought up? And obviously, this Pastor Shaw bringing up his liberal left-wing agenda. Man, bull on that crap. I don't want to hear all that nonsense. But, that's where I emphatically disagree with them on. And my answer is no, we should not. It's not analogous. Because it's like, show me per the scriptures, out of the scriptures, where it's ever okay for us to wish ill will on anybody. Look, I've got 2 ex-wives. I don't ever, because I try to be a student of the scriptures, I don't wish ill will on either one of them. When they remarried, I applauded it. I prayed for the success of their marriage. I just can't see how God would move me, per the scriptures, to wish ill will on them. And particularly the fact that my last ex-wife, she's doing some stuff that's just flat out wrong. Just flat out wrong. But I don't wish ill will on her. I got to deal with the big issues. Okay? I got to deal with the big issues. Folks, that's the deal here with Deion. I think Dr. Cosby's trying to get us to focus on the big issues. Let's put on our big boy panties and our big girl panties and talk about that big issue. And that big issue is, daggone, we keep losing highly talented black men, and we don't have enough of them. So I get it. We may have some left-wing lunatic black professor running around talking about diversity and all this other kind of stuff. Well, and I'm sure that same black professor is teaching at Simmons University. I'm sure he's investing his time and talent at Simmons University. I do know of one brother, black man, Dr. Blaine Hudson. He was at the University of Louisville. He had like a small school he was trying to do in West Louisville, and I still go by that building. I mean, he was in the hood. He worked for the University of Louisville. That's fine and good. I mean, that's fine and good because there ain't no one else in the Commonwealth of Kentucky that can compete with U of L. I mean, another white institution could, but there's no black institution that could say to Dr. Hudson at that time, "Hey, brother, come over here. We'll pay you equivalent what you're getting at U of L, or we'll be within the same ballpark." Are you serious? No way in heck. But still, Dr. Hudson, because of his dedication to the upliftment of our people, said, "Hey, I'm going to still do what I got to do here at U of L, but I'm also going to help build an institution here in West Louisville." And that's one thing we got to do. Some brothers are like Kevin Cosby. Kevin Cosby could go to any major corporation in the USA and end up making 4 times the amount of money he's making right now. Folks, don't doubt me. That Negro can do it. Don't doubt me. Don't doubt me on that one. That's just stone cold fact. But instead, he's made a lifelong commitment to building institutions in the black community for the black community. So when you see something like a Deion Sanders, I get it. Deion, $5 million? Shoot, Deion, I would have gone to Colorado for $1 million, and I would have also offered to wash the university president's dirty drawers. Shoot, $5 million? I can't count the $5 million, brother. I wouldn't make $5 million if I lived another 100 years on this earth. I'm not mad at Deion, man. Deion, you go do what you got to do. God bless you. Hope God continues to bless you. But hold on, bro. I'm going to say this to Deion, a black man and other black men, the institution builders in our community. Hold on, man. What, how are we going to continue to, what are some things we're going to need to do to build institutions in our community for our community? Okay? I mean, you look at someone like Dr. Umar Johnson. He's out there. I have some differences with Dr. Umar Johnson. I like a lot of what he says, but there's some stuff I don't like. But hey, I got to respect the brother, like I got to respect Kevin Cosby, like I got to respect Corey Scholl for the institutions they are building in our community for our community. Got to respect that. Got to respect that. Okay? But I'm telling you something. You go to a Kevin Cosby, you go to a Dr. Umar Williams. Those they're different. They have differences theologically and politically, and I bet you they'll say the same thing, brother. I would do anything to get more talented and educated black men to help me build these institutions. And I'm not saying lip service. I'm not saying giving a donation here or two. I mean coming into the institutions and building it, teaching, administration, looking for grants, building an endowment. I mean, coming in there, rolling up their sleeves and coming in there and building. I think that's what Dr. Kevin Cosby is trying to get us to look. That's the bigger question. That's what he's trying to do. So I would relish any type of intelligent response to what I've said. I think this is a very important question. I hope that Dr. Scholl does not see this as a personal attack on him. I have my disagreements with him. I've always been very open and clear about my disagreements with him. But, I think God has moved me to use this opportunity to also say to him, hey, man, I respect you building institutions, amongst our people, in our community, for our community, black folk in America. I respect that. I want to say that to Dr. Kevin Cosby. I also want to say that to Dr. Umar Williams, and other black folk, other black men who are doing that. I respect you, brothers. I have my differences, and I'm going to articulate my differences to you, but I have my respect. And I really think that again, I just want to emphasize this. I think the big discussion here, the bigger question discussion here. Come on, folks. Come on, black men. We need to put on our big boy panties. This isn't about, oh, Dr. Cosby don't like Deion. Man, Dr. Cosby, shut up. Shut up. You know, we talk about Deion being a superstar and swag and all that other kind of stuff. Shoot, Dr. Cosby, he can go toe-to-toe with Deion when it comes to achievement. Heck yeah. He can go toe-to-toe with Deion. He ain't got nothing against that man. Cosby ain't got nothing against Sanders. Nothing at all. Cosby's bigger thing is, folks, we need the time, the talent, the treasure. We need the intellectual capital to build institutions in our community for our community. We need that intellectual capital to build institutions that deliver services like healthcare services, that deliver education services, that deliver goods and services. Services, consumer products and services. We need to be building that kind of stuff in our community for our community. And how are we going to be able to do that when we are forever faced with this whole question of, okay, and we got these highly talented black men like Deion. That's what he is. Come on now. You got to give it to him. And, then some white boy can come along, or a group of white boys can come along and say, dude, we'll give you $5 million. And we're not even going to talk about the bonuses yet. And then what? He's at some HBCU. I don't even think they were coming close to the full package. I don't think the full package they were giving him was $1 million. I would have accepted it. I ain't going to lie to you. I would have accepted it. But I would have accepted it having that question in my head that I think Dr. Cosby's statement is, hey, we need you. We need the intellectual capital. How are we going to invest? How are we going to grow, move forward as a people if our best and our brightest, are leaving and going elsewhere? Because I tell you what, ain't an HBU in this country, individually or collectively, that could even come close to competing against what that university in Colorado offered Deion. It's just no way. And anything like that, we have any highly talented black thought leaders and thinkers and scholars and researchers. They're at an HBCU, man. Most any white college or university in this country could just walk up to them and say, hey, man, how much you making? Nah, don't even tell us how much we're making. Here's what we're offering you. It's like that brother is going to look at it and say, oh, shoot, I'm out of here. Call 2 men on the truck. I'm out of here. They just, boom, they can take them away. They be gone. So anyway, I just wanted to put my 2 cents in there. And folks, again, please like, subscribe to my podcast, my messages to black men. I'll probably be bringing this issue up again later. But I just want to thank you all for listening. Please share this with other folk.